The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Welcome to show number 579. We have great real estate professionals here today and so much more. We are going to begin with Chase Harville. He is with Chase Harville Real Estate, LLC. Chase, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Thank you for inviting us in.
Well, first of all, Chase, you're doing tremendous things. You and the group are doing great things in real estate. Let's tell people about your company.
My company, we're based out of the Woodlands, Texas. As you said, Chase Harville Real Estate, LLC. Tagline is excellence in excellence in residential, land, and horse farm properties. So we kind of cover all the bases there within that tagline.
That's a lot of bases.
It is a lot of bases. I like to be busy.
And geographically, certainly you covered, you have a license for the state of Texas, but where do you do your work mostly?
Well, it kind of different depending on what we're doing. So residential, we mainly concentrate on the northwest side of Houston. We will do things outside of northwest Houston, but that's generally where we have our residential. When we're dealing with land or horse farms, we do all of greater Houston, and really we'll go as far north as Centerville. We'll go all the way to Beaumont. We'll go well past west of Brenham and all the way down to the coast near Galveston as well. So pretty wide range for land.
And when we think, especially for those listening outside of Houston, of the northwest area, describe the kind of geography, what's it look like, the various things that are available, because it sounds like in the Northwest, there's some elbow room, some room to not just if you want to have horses, but if you just want to have an acre or two or even more. Yeah,
we definitely do a lot of, I call them ranchettes. Northwest side of Houston has a lot of neighborhoods that associate horses with residential a lot. So like we just helped somebody purchase 5 acres, nice house in Magnolia. And, you know, basically, I like to concentrate on the northwest side of Houston because that's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Spring, went to Klein High School, and so I feel very, very confident with residential in that area. Additionally, I do expand out for land. My father was an attorney here in town, but also was a land investor as well. And so I got to follow him around as a kid all over Texas with my dad's land investments. And so I feel like I can branch out a little bit more with the land.
And it's interesting is a lot of people just buy a home with a small parcel of land, we'll say, in a neighborhood. There's extra considerations when you buy land. There's other things to think about. Give us an idea of some of the things that when we buy land, maybe 5 acres, or even if we're just buying land or buying land with a home attached to it. What are some of the things that are different?
Well, you know, if you're going just residential, let's say you're buying a house in the Woodlands, your real purpose is to live there with your family. Well, if you're buying, let's say, 3-5 acres with a house, what's your purpose of that? So my biggest thing that I always want to find out is, what is your use for that acreage? Because it really matters as far as where I may look for that property for you. Additionally, land is a tougher transaction in that there's a lot more research done. You have to definitely concentrate on floodplain. How does water runoff go? You know, is the land appropriate for putting shops on, putting a barn? Is there good grass, good soil for the horses involved if you've got horses going on that land? So there's a lot involved with land. When you get into the bigger parcels of land, you got to worry about mineral rights. Who owns the mineral rights? Where's that money going if somebody decides to drill? So That's why I love land, because it is a challenging real estate transaction, and you definitely have to have your client's goals in mind when you're looking for it.
Sounds like a good reason to reach out to Chase Harville.
I agree.
Who knows all the nuances, because, like you said, there are so many things to think about. And I think a lot of people that live maybe in a regular neighborhood for a while, every now and then might reach out and say, hey, I want a little bit more elbow room, or
Absolutely.
I want to try a different lifestyle, because life's too short, I think, to do and live the same way over and over.
100%. So it is becoming more and more common right now for people to want a little extra elbow room. Whether it's, the world's a little different right now, or they're just tired of neighbors, or they're tired of traffic, or I've talked to one buyer last week where they bought a house in a neighborhood, the backyard just slanted straight down, so the boys had no place to run. And, basically all they do is tumble down their backyard from that high pitch where the house was sitting. And so, having a few acres is great for a family with kids. I mean, let your kids stretch out, get them away, from the video games, the computer, and lock them outside, make them stay out there. And that's what a lot of people are trying to do these days.
Give us an idea, Chase, of all the things you could be doing. How did you get into real estate, and what was it about real estate where you said, man, this is where I want to be?
It's interesting a little bit. So I was a national champion horse trainer for 25 years. And I was at our national horse show in 2019, and I just all of a sudden woke up one morning and I was like, I've got to retire from this. And it's not that I didn't love the horses or anything else. It's just something was calling me to a different spot. And I was probably a little burnout. And so I was driving home from Oklahoma City, and that 8-hour drive, I came up with, I need to do real estate. And I was already enrolled in Champions Real Estate by the time I got home. And one of the biggest reasons I chose real estate is because of that history with my father. My father was a fantastic land investor. He had the Midas touch for it, and I loved learning about it even as a small kid. And so with that, I had a famous aunt in North Texas that was a realtor up there as well. It just made sense to me. I'd been selling $100,000, $1 million horses. Well, why don't I actually start to sell something that people actually need? And additionally, as a horse trainer, you're really just trying to make your clients happy by winning ribbons. Real estate, you can honestly, I've had several instances where you can actually change that family's life, help them change their life. And so that I was looking for something a little deeper as well, I think, and that's why I chose real estate.
And just briefly, as you mentioned, the different values of horses. I think horses are interesting to all of us, especially those from my generation that used to watch the show Mr. Ed. Now, I don't know what Mr. Ed was worth, but I always liked Mr. Ed. That said, you mentioned a $1 million horse, and then I guess somewhere in between. So what, other than racing horses, maybe this is the answer, what determines the value of why would a horse be $100,000, $25,000, $2,000, and then $1 million? What determines that value?
Quality, conformation, and ability to win. Really are the biggest factors involved. And yeah, I sold horses anywhere from $1. We used to have a client stallion in our barn where we got offered over $3 million for him. And he was an excellent producing horse. So his babies were very valuable as well. And that's why he was so expensive.
I just finished a book called Blood Aces. It's a story about Benny Binion. I don't know if you heard about him, but early in his life, he was a very instrumental person in building Las Vegas. And anyway,
Binions. Okay, that makes sense.
Benny Binion, a legend and a notorious figure, but he early started with nothing in the horse business and went on from there. But yeah, it's interesting, those things. But yes, so horses, you're selling properties. There's a lot of people, I think, that have horses, and you're the guy to call.
I hope to be. Yes, sir. With my horse training background, I don't feel like you can go help your clients in a proper way if they're looking for a horse property. and you know nothing about horses, you know nothing about soil, you know nothing about grass, you know nothing about what's going to affect that horse's life, how can you go help that person properly in a real estate transaction find that? So I've been very fortunate. I was in the Arabian horse business. I'm still a judge in the Arabian horse business, but I've actually done over $20 million in volume now since I started, just from the people I knew in the Arabian horse business. And it's because they knew they could trust me on that. And they also knew I knew that information. If they gave me criteria, they knew that I could find the perfect property for them, or I could sell their property because I knew the language that was needed to talk to other horse people. Because a $3 million horse farm, Bill, you're not going to go buy a $3 million horse farm.
No.
I'm going to get people that know horses as good as me that are going to buy a $3 million horse farm. So you better know how to talk to them.
No doubt about it. And an Arabian, what is distinctive about the Arabian horse, just quickly?
Well, I fell in love with Arabians as a kid. The second I found out that the black stallion in the movie was an Arabian, done. I wanted to be
an Arabian.
It is an Arabian. His name was Cassoulet. I ended up meeting the people that owned him and became friends with those people at a much later age because they found out my story of why I became an Arabian horse trainer was because of their horse. And but I wanted to be that kid riding no saddle, no bridle, flapping my wings on the beach. Man, that got me. That got me. So that's why I got into Arabian horses.
Are Arabian horse like extra shiny? I'm picturing these shiny horse. I don't know why.
They're basically the starting breed to all breeds. They're in quarter horse lineage. They're in thoroughbred lineage. They go all the way back in time. And they are a more refined animal. They're also known as being the most intelligent horse as well.
Fascinating. Let's see the things we learn on this show. It's incredible what you're providing here today, and you're helping real estate people learn about real estate, horses, but also, Chase, not to be misled, you also help someone if they want to sell their regular home.
Absolutely. With
a 2-car garage, no horses, no cats or dogs even. You'll help them.
Absolutely. We have a listing appointment today for a regular old residential home that's going to be about $1 million. And so we definitely, I had to come up with great sales tactics to sell horses because you don't need it's for your life. It's not required. So how can you talk somebody into spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a horse? You better come up with a good sales pitch. That's why I love listings as well, because I use a lot of those same tactics to help us sell our real estate just as fast as I would sell the horses.
Well, Chase, if someone needs your help in buying or selling real estate, let's tell them how they can reach you, Chase Harville.
Chase Harville, my telephone number is 281-825-6990. And remember, it's excellence in residential, land, and horse farm properties. 281-825-6990.
Chase, thanks for being with us.
Man, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
As we continue, let's talk to Brandy Weibel. She is with Chase Harville Real Estate, LLC. Brandy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Well, here we are, doing great. You are with Chase that we just talked to, working side by side.
It's awesome.
Let's tell people your role with the company.
So I'm a buyer's agent for Chase, and I'm also, I guess, kind of like his TC compliance assistant, but I work heavily with our buyers.
And as far as working with buyers, give us an idea. Do they reach out to you, or what percentage reach out to you? And then also, I think you also look for buyers and do some marketing as well.
We do a lot of marketing, yes. So I would say we don't cold call. I don't think either of us want to ever get into that. Most of our business is referral based, or they reach out to us for one reason or another, our marketing, word of mouth. So I would say 100% of our business is that, and none of it is cold calling. We're not reaching out.
So, Brandy, give us an idea then on social media. I see you every now and then on Facebook. Do you use Facebook to bring in some business?
Absolutely.
Talk about your listings?
Absolutely. So I think if you're not on Facebook and you're not on Instagram, LinkedIn, if you're not on the platforms, you're not going to be seen. That is where everyone's at. We're not watching TV and watching commercials. We all have TiVo or, a Roku or something. We can skip all of that. So we focus heavily on Facebook, and I try to post a lot of content. But of course, I'm going to post my family and friends, but I want to feature homes, feature what we're doing, and educate people. So.
And as far as the buyers, are you seeing buyers that come from outside of Texas with
Yes.
any kind of frequency? If so, where are they coming from?
Well, California.
And where else? I mean, there are a lot have come from California.
I have met 2 from New York. I had someone last year reach out to me from Washington State. So kind of all of that East Coast there, or West Coast. I'm backwards. I see people moving for one reason or another. Sometimes it's political. Sometimes it's, money. We don't have some of the same tax laws. And so I think Texas is very appealing to people out of state. But we have people moving here from out of the country as well. Texas is just a great place to live.
It really is. And through the years, they seem like they're still coming on a regular basis. So, and as far as they find you on social media a lot, and other than Facebook, which one is another important social media thing that you guys?
Instagram is an important one as well. And Chase has a YouTube channel for our business. But I think the majority of our business, as far as marketing goes, it's coming from Facebook and Instagram.
And as far as this year goes, here we are in the last home stretch, if you will, of the year. How has it been so far business-wise? And then what do you see ahead for the buyers?
So I'll be honest with you. It's been a lot slower than it was last year, right? Interest rates have a lot to do with that, but we've had a rate drop. And so suddenly our open houses are busier. The phones are ringing. There's more appointments being made. So I've seen a shift in the last month, or really the last couple of weeks. So I really think we're about to experience a boom. And that's my hope, right? Let's have that big boom again. But historically, it's not been unlike 2019, or 2008 or 2009. So I think that we've been at the lowest point, and we're just about to upswing. And so I'm ready for it. Let's get those buyers in before the interest rates cause the prices to increase.
It's interesting, the balance and the dynamics of how that works. But you're here to say, if I understood you correctly, just as we heard. And we record the show prior to the airtime, but just maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, as we heard about bigger drops in the interest rate, you're actually seeing an uptick. Is that correct?
Yes. So the phones are ringing. Absolutely. Our open houses have been busier, and our colleagues have as well. So we're really good about reaching out to other people in the business and the industry. Hey, how did your open house do? What are you seeing? We want to stay. Is it something that we're doing, or is it just everyone? So keep your finger on the pulse. I think that's how we both operate. And everyone is seeing the phones light up, which is fantastic. Let's do that. So it's been a lot busier in the last couple of weeks.
Well, it sounds like you and Chase at the Chase Harville Real Estate LLC keep your eye on market trends and also on statistics too, and facts and figures. Guessing.
Yes, we like to take a look at data pretty regularly. I know Chase does every morning. I probably do every other morning. I'm not as crazy about it as he is. But it's really important to stay ahead of that. So you want to know what the trend is and how that's going to affect your client, on the buying or the selling side. So historically, what do we do now? Right now, it's a buyer's market, and we just had a tiny interest rate drop. So before the prices can get ahead of that, I think everybody needs to jump in and buy. If you're interested in buying, don't wait until January. You need to be doing it now.
Interesting. I keep my eye not just on the Houston market, but on some other markets around the country, and I've seen that as well, where just over the last 2 days, a couple homes that I've been eyeing just for the market trend in that area, Hot Springs, Arkansas. But that said, boom, under contract.
Yes.
Within 2 days, a couple that I've kept as my barometers are under
it's
contract.
Shifting, and we want to stay. If you're interested in buying, now would be the time to do it because you have more negotiating power. You kind of hold the keys. But in a few months, Even in another month, that might be very different. So the market is always shifting. Interest rates and, just what people believe about the market has a lot to do with that. So
there's so much psychology at play, too.
there is.
That's what's fascinating.
There is.
Because we're dealing with people, we're dealing with dollars
It's
going
like the
up.
stock market.
It's very much like that, which is also an emotional reacts to emotions and to trends. So it's fascinating how all that works. But Brandy and Bill are here to say,
Buy now
there you go.
with Chase Harville Real Estate.
It's so simple. So let's tell people, Brandy, what got you into the real estate world? Because you could be doing a lot of things and be very successful at those things, but why real estate?
Well, my grandmother raised me, and she was a realtor and a rancher's wife, and my favorite human being in the world. And that is why I always knew I wanted to work in real estate, but I got here a little later than probably I anticipated because I didn't want to be totally like her and let everyone know that I was trying to emulate her. So I became an appraiser first, and then the bubble burst. And then I became an insurance agent. But I knew that at some point I would get back to real estate because that's home. That's what's comforting to me. And I just like helping people. I think that's very important. If you're not serving others, what is your purpose in life? So real estate allows me to serve other people. And I really wanted to do that with my career.
I just like the phrase rancher's wife. There's so many things that
It's a big job.
It's a big job, and I'm picturing the Wild West and
We're in
grandma
East
sitting
Texas.
on the porch with a shotgun.
She was
Any of
very
that?
much a lady. So while she might shoot you, you wouldn't see it coming.
And smart too, right?
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. So right now, here you are in real estate, and we look ahead. I think the end of the year is going to be a nice finish. I
Yes.
don't know what you're seeing, but then 2026, I think, put the seatbelt on. I'm just saying.
I think you're right. I think you better put the seatbelt on because everybody that's been holding out, everyone still needs to move for one reason or another, or they just want to move or they want to buy land. I think people are getting antsy. They've been holding tight and saving their money. So now it's shifting. What are we going to do?
Well, I
Everyone's
was
going to go crazy. We're going to move to Texas.
Actually having a discussion this morning with a friend of mine where as interest rates go down, where it's easier to buy real estate, so to speak, there are people that have cash piles in places. Well, that interest is going down, so where do they put their money is a question that's going on, I think, in some worlds. So, hey, maybe you take some of that money, put it in real estate, and there you go. And that should go up if you buy right and you buy the right property.
Well, very seldom do you see property depreciate. And especially in our market. So in Houston or in the Woodlands in particular, property is appreciating. We had a crazy appreciation rate during the COVID times. And now in the Woodlands, where everyone else is kind of stabilizing, the Woodlands is still appreciating at about 2.7% year over year. After the first of the year, it's probably going to increase a lot more, I would expect. So always a good investment, in my opinion. Even if you have to hold in, it doesn't appreciate right away. It will eventually.
And also, I'll point out, especially to those listening from afar that don't know Houston, this northwest area that Brandy's talking about, we're talking about an area, the Woodlands,
Cherry-picked.
stellar community.
Yes.
But around this area that you're serving, there are lakes, there's forest, there's land, there's town, there's everything, and there's so many things that are key drivers for the area. So
Absolutely. I mean, you've got commerce, you've got Chevron is right there, right outside of the Woodlands. So, there's plenty of places to work. There's plenty of places to shop and eat. And we have, fine dining. You've got Maestros or you had Federal American Grill, the guy, Matt Bryce?
Yeah, Bryce.
Bryce. You had him on this show. That's my favorite restaurant. I mean, there's so many places to go and shop and walk. But at the same time, we have a listing coming soon that's, kind of at the end of Woodlands Parkway. And I think it's 30 plus acres. That's you wouldn't expect it to be there, but it's there. And it's kind of all over in the Magnolia area, which is still relatively close to I-45 in the Woodlands, but also 45 minutes from College Station. So which way do you want to go?
So, Brandy, you seem like a very organized, strategic person. Give us an idea. How do you stay balanced, and do you have a to-do list that you work with every day, or how do you stay organized? Give us a
Chase
word.
is going to laugh at you for saying that. I I do have checklists. I have to write
Gotta
things
have a
down.
checklist.
I have to. I'm a paper person. I'm kind of old in that way. I write things down. If I don't, I'll forget. And it could just be a thought, but I'll write it down and I'll go back, circle back to that daily and see if I've checked it off. And if not, move it to the next day. I've always done that. I think part of that's errors and omissions from being an insurance agent. I wrote everything down on a daily basis, and your friend back there is nodding his head because he understands that.
He writes stuff down all the time?
Yeah, I would voice record myself and also make notes, and I still do those things to keep me on task.
Awesome, Brandy. I knew there was something extra special about you. Let's tell people, Brandy Weibel, how they can reach you.
You can reach me at 936-222-0827 or at my email address, Brandy, Brandy, Weibel, Wyble, at kw.com. 936-222-0827.
Brandy, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Bill. I appreciate it.
As we continue, let's talk to Elizabeth Stein. She is the fundraising chair of the Houston Professional Firefighters Association charitable foundation, doing tremendous work for many years, helping our Houston first responders, the firefighters, in a magnificent way. And my friend Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back. It's been a long time.
It has, and every time we're on the air, we know that the firefighters, we get extra listeners from the Houston firefighters.
Well, and I do want to start today with condolences, and not to start off on a sad note, but we really are sending out from the city of Houston, from other firefighters, condolences to the family of the fallen firefighter from last week, to Stephen Scott and to his family. But in mentioning that, we also want to mention the one fallen firefighter from 2024, which was Marcelo Garcia.
Here in Houston.
Yes. So not to start sadly, but we wouldn't want to not recognize that that's something that the whole firefighter family has been sad about.
Well, and that embellishes the importance and the bravery that has to be had on individuals, male, female, that are in the firefighters that are fighting fires, not just here in Houston, but beyond, because it's a job where you have to be brave and you have to serve others. And I can't not think of I just heard someone talk about California and the repercussions still from the fires there. So we're so fortunate that individuals here in Houston or beyond are doing tremendous work, putting their lives on the line. And here you are, Elizabeth Stein. Once again, you've been helping the firefighters and others for years with their cause and helping raise money and even doing some fun things along the way. So let's tell people some of the things you do with the Houston firefighters right here.
Well, and to your point about fires in other areas like California, we fortunately over the last 8 years have purchased equipment that can go into different areas, and we have actually transported that equipment. And if I had our firefighters go to California, go to other areas of Texas, and that was one of the first things to overcome in 2018 when you're fundraising, is people would say, well, I don't really live in Harris County, so it's not, we're just going to donate to our own fire department. And we hope that you always will. But it, in fact, made a big difference in what we could do here and who we could loan boats to and all types of farm area equipment, because you can't take ambulances into forests. You can't take them into national parks, but we have purchased equipment that can. So we are really doing a lot of good work. Lots has changed since I was here last. Now with our new mayor, he is a very strong supporter, and Mr. Mayor Whitmire.
Yeah, I just met him about a month ago.
Yes, yeah. And we really love and adore him. And he appointed a new chief of the fire department, and he's been an outstanding man. And I will tell you, it's Thomas Munoz, but now it's Chief Thomas Munoz. And he is a real friend of the firefighters and really well loved. So that's a good thing.
I just had an image. You and I, Elizabeth and I, went to, I forget what station it was, for breakfast early in the morning as the firefighters are listening to the various alerts that come across the radio. But we're having breakfast, and one of the fun things we did was take a picture. Remember the picture with Captain Gabe, was it?
Yes.
Captain Gabe, and we stood next to the fire truck for the picture, and I have not been near a fire truck for a long time, and since then. But those things are huge. The fire truck, I felt like some kind of ant next to the fire truck. They're gigantic, and I got to climb inside it.
Yes.
Fascinating how they can work that equipment.
And they are still each year donating a dinner. You'll have certain stations that will donate a dinner, and we raise money at the auction through that. And I think I've been to 3 of those dinners, including the breakfast with you. And every single time we get left in the station because the alarm goes off.
That's right. We were left. That's right.
We were left standing there.
I forgot. Yeah. And I don't think it was a fire, but it was someone with some kind of a medical. Because they're not just fighting fires. The firefighters are also helping heart attack. Bam. I think that's what it was. Some kind of heart. Someone had a heart thing.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, they leave the breakfast table. We're sitting there. And then that was it. Yeah. And they were off to help somebody.
And we're like, well, what do we do? I don't know.
We'll come back another time. Yeah.
Come back another time.
So,
it's quite a learning experience to go to some of these stations. So it's been a
and
been a head turner.
These people are just like police. They're standing by 24/7. Doesn't matter. Now there's something coming up called
the Red Hot Gala.
The Red Hot Gala every October. Let's tell people about that.
So that's the fundraiser, the main fundraiser that started in 2018. Can I hold up my invitation?
You could hold that up to the camera right there. There it is.
2018. Now we are celebrating our 8th year. We're back at the Royal Sonesta on October the 11th. We have some magnificent supporters that have been with us for a long time. And fortunately, they are still with us. This year, we are honoring a community sponsor, which is United Airlines. They, too, have been with us for a number of years. And, we're real excited about having a full house again. We were sold out last year. We're headed in that direction, and it makes a big difference. So collectively, since 2018, we're over $4 million and spending the money as fast as we can spend the money.
So the Red Hot Gala is an event that will help that earns money to help the firefighters with this one event. And, of course, people can help other ways as well. But if someone, let's say they want to go to this Red Hot Gala.
So that all you need to do is get on to houstonsbravest.org. So it's HOUSTONS, Bravest, BRAVEST.org, and sign up. You can buy a ticket. You can buy a table. This year we have a wonderful raffle, which one of the local jewelers, Tenenbaum Jewelers, has donated. So we have 400 tickets to sell at $100 a piece that are going fast, and you win a certificate to come in and shop at the store. So that's a fun piece of the night as well. But there's the pipes and drums are there. The honor guard comes. The firefighter Joe Rice sings the national anthem. It's a moving event. But in addition to it being quite serious and quite fun, we always roll out the new calendar. So the new calendar will roll out and be out for sale November 1st. And you can also find that on houstonsbravest.org.
And people love that calendar.
Well, yeah, what's not to love?
Well, the one you have there is 2025. So what you're saying is the unveiling of the 2026 we need to be looking for.
That's right, November 1st.
Now, if someone is not able to attend the event, the gala, but they want to help the firefighters in way of a donation or something like that, how does that work?
In the same way, we've made it pretty simple. You can go on to houstonsbravest.org and just make a donation. We welcome everything from $25 to the sky is the limit. Yeah. And we sell the calendars there. We also sell the decals there. And in addition, we have added a clay shoot, which is appealing this will be our second year in February, and you can also register for that clay shoot. Companies come in and do advertising. It's a great day out at the Greater Houston Sports Club. I'm not a clay shooter, so I have to really look. But lots and lots and lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Simply go to houstonsbravest.org. You can help the Houston firefighters right there. And then along the way, Elizabeth, you're doing so many things that help Houston. I mean, not just with firefighters, but it seems like a lot of your life is helping people with various organizations, building up funds for them and helping them in those ways. So give us a word on maybe one other thing that you do.
Well, I can, of course. I've been involved with Victory for 30-something years, and we raise money for cancer research, and it gets better and better. Their event is the last Saturday in April of 26, and we donate here in Houston to researchers that we vet. This year, we're giving away $1.6 million. Hopefully, we will give away that much next year as well. But the interesting thing about this community is there are over 5,000 501c3s, and many of them are startups. And people have this fear, but I promise you, it's about a passion. It's about giving back, wanting to improve your community, and it really doesn't always have to be something that's large. If you have a good friend or two friends that you really feel you can depend on and you're passionate, whether it's about animals, conservation, it is doable. I promise you, it is doable.
Elizabeth, let's tell people the website again if they want to help the firefighters, and then also on the cancer organization.
Sure. Of course, I don't have the Victory one in front of me, but I do think I have it in my head. So for the firefighters, it's houstonsbravest.org, and that's Houston's with an S. And for Victory, it's victory-houston. To be corrected if I've gotten that wrong, there will probably.
Or they could just Google the organization.
They absolutely can. The other one thing that I really hope to share with the community is, since that time has changed in the last year, the political climate has changed, we're now seeing an abundance of cadets, more than we have seen in years.
People that want to be firefighters.
Correct.
Awesome.
So that is just bursting out the seams, and they are so eager for anyone that has had a passion and a love for that to come back in. And that website, just in case you are interested, is hfdcareers.org. So go on and take a look at it, but come join the Houston Fire Department.
What if I want to be a fireman?
You could be a fireman's helper.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you.
I just want to be on the calendar. Elizabeth, once again, houstonsbravest.org. Check her out, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me again.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Insurance time once again.
Insurance time once again.
You have the book out. You have
the book out.
You're ready for action, I think.
Yeah, I am. So we're going to continue our series.
The series continues.
So this is number 7 in our Key Insurance Indicators series. And today we're going to talk a little bit about errors and omissions coverage.
Awesome.
So we've got 9+1 KIIs, Key Insurance Indicators for errors and omissions.
9+1.
9+1.
Not to be confused with 10, because
no.
one's kind of you got the 9, then you got the bonus.
I got the bonus, yes. We always got to have a bonus. So the first one is just understanding the limits of the liability. And all that is how much coverage the policy provides. So every insurance policy is going to have some level of liability insurance or liability limit. So it's how much coverage is available for the life of the policy, and then how much coverage is available per incident. So that's the first thing to take a look at is do you have enough, or do you believe you have enough coverage, liability limits. The second thing are defense costs. So one of the mainstays of an errors and omissions policy, so if you think about doctors have malpractice insurance. So that helps them in case they misdiagnose or they make an error working with the patient. Errors and omissions insurance is malpractice insurance for businesses. One of the key elements of an errors and omissions policy is that they promise to provide defense costs. So if you are sued and you file a claim against your E&O policy, they'll help cover legal fees. But it's important to understand that there's two different types of coverages within that defense area. Is it outside the limits or inside the limits? So if you have an outside the limits policy, it doesn't the cost of having defense does not drain the liability limits. So let's say you have a liability limit of $1 million, and you have $200,000 worth of defense costs. That doesn't affect the liability limit. If you have an inside the limits policy, which is a little less in cost, the defense costs pull from that liability limit pool. So again, same example, if you had $1 million worth of coverage and you had $200,000 worth of defense costs, your liability limit's now been reduced to $800,000. So it's nice if you can afford to invest a little bit more and get a policy that's outside the limits. So it just gives you more coverage for a longer period of time. So, what's the deductible structure look like? So how much are you going to have to pay before the insurance kicks in? So when we're working with our clients, we can help maybe manipulate the premium, the cost of the insurance, depending upon what that deductible limit is. So in some cases, we have clients that are not so risk averse, so they may want a higher liability limit, a higher deductible, so that premium can be lower. And we have some that if they file a claim, they want the insurance company to jump in as quickly as possible. In those cases, we'll lower that deductible. So it's just a matter of understanding what our clients' needs are and how risk averse they are or they are not, and then that'll be that driver. Number 4 is the retroactive date or prior acts coverage. So you want to make sure, so the retroactive date says this is when the coverage first was initiated. And you want to make sure that you've got prior acts coverage. So if, let's say you change insurance companies, if there is a claim from something that happened previously, if you have that prior acts coverage, the current insurance company will take over that responsibility. So if you've moved from one insurance company to another, but you have a claim that comes about from 2 years ago, the current company should be able to take it over. But it's important that you understand whether you've got that prior acts or they're only going to cover anything that happens new going forward. So it's important to understand that. So that's always a critical one to take a look at. What professional services are covered? The more professional services that are covered, the higher the cost of the insurance is going to be. So, are we covering residential sales and leases? Are we covering commercial sales and leases? Are we covering property management? Are we covering broker price options or opinions, So depending upon what we're covering is going to drive what coverage is available. And it's also going to drive maybe which insurance company we go to help write that policy. So it's important that we understand the different coverages that your business or the different things or services that your real estate business provides. And then that's going to ultimately drive how that errors and omissions policy is written. And it's also going to drive ultimately what that premium is or the cost of the coverage. Number 6 are exclusions. So that's going to tell us what's not covered. So it's important to understand, and do those exclusions leave you vulnerable? So we need to make sure we not only understand what we are being covered with, but what we're not being covered for. So understanding the exclusions are critical. What are key endorsements? So our endorsements are generally additions to a base policy. So if we're writing an errors and omissions policy for a real estate firm, we're going to write it with a company that understands real estate. So it's not going to be a generic errors and omissions policy. It's going to be one specifically for that understands real estate firms. So if we're writing it, the language is about real estate brokers, or the language is about real estate brokers that understand property management, or the language is specifically for property management firms. So understanding those endorsements and having those endorsements are key. The other ones to keep in mind are, there's lockbox liability. There are fair housing issues that can come about. Open house issues, environmental or mold, or as I said, if you're adding on property management, those are all critical endorsements that are really worth having, and they don't add a significant amount to the cost of the premium, the cost of the coverage, but they're really important, especially in today's world. Number 8 is an extended reporting period, or sometimes you'll hear tail coverage. So, Bill, you've decided to retire from real estate, but you still want to make sure that you've got some coverage in case somebody files a claim for some previous action. You can get extended reporting period coverage, a year, 2 years, 3 years. In some cases, you're unlimited. Or let's say you decided that you didn't want to have the brokerage anymore and you wanted to go to work with Brandy and Chase. So that
You're
would
reading my mind.
They would be great to work with.
I no doubt.
So, but what you still could do would be you no longer, and Chase is going to cover you under his errors and omissions policy. So you don't need a new policy, but what you would want to consider would be this extended reporting period, again, to cover you in case of anything were to happen in the past. And then number 9 is just the insurance company's reputation. What's their rating? What is their claim history? Are they great about claims? Do they provide pre-claim assistance? So can we call them up and lay out a scenario to see about coverage without having to get into specific details? So understanding who that carrier is going to be critical. And then the +1, the bonus is if you would like to have errors and omissions coverage for your business insurance, for your real estate business, your property management firm, your independent title and attorney agents, give Stewart Insurance a call. We'd be happy to help.
So much to think about, John.
Well, it is, and it's important because there are subtleties in a policy that are critical, and that's, I think sometimes we lose that aspect of the decision-making process, that price has become so important and it's become so critical that many times we're making decisions solely on price. And what we're forgetting about is what's the intent of the policy. And is the intent of the policy in alignment with the needs of the business or the individual? And if the intent of the policy is in alignment with the needs of the individual or the business, then we're in great shape. We're properly insured. Where we have problems is when those intents aren't aligned. And my expectation of coverage or a business's expectation of coverage doesn't align with what the policy actually provides. That's when individuals or businesses run into problems.
I think as prices increase, people are more driven to get into the details to say, well, wait, maybe I need this, maybe I don't need that. How can it be tailor-made for my situation and my budget? Well,
I would hope so. Unfortunately, we're seeing in some cases that folks are solely making a decision based on price. And while that's understandable, and we want to make sure that whatever policy we build for our clients, if we're building a plan with multiple policies, that it fits within their budgetary restraints. But it's also important that the client understands what they may be giving up, or this is what I will have, but what I don't have. And as long as you understand that, then we're okay. Where we get into trouble is folks assume that a insurance policy is an insurance policy. An errors and omissions policy, they're all the same, or home insurance policy, they're all the same, and that's not the case.
John, let's tell people how they can reach Stewart Insurance.
They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. 866-798-2827.
John, thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
And now, speaking of great business development people at Stewart Title, Hope Moy joins us once again. Hope, a quick word about your offices that you're serving for Stewart Title.
Hey, Bill. Good to see you.
How about Brandy and Chase? Those guys, you know them real well, too.
I mean, fantastic team.
And a bit of trivia. Let's tell people, it just so happens you, Brandy, and Chase all just happen to have the same kind of dog.
Yes, Australian
Who would have-
Shepherds.
What?
It was meant to be. It was definitely meant to
I
be.
need to get one.
We need to compare pictures.
All right. So, but your offices.
Yes, my offices are in Magnolia off of 1488. I have 2 fantastic escrow officers there who work in all types of transactions, from commercial to land to, I don't know, farm and ranch or horse ranches. And I also have a team off of 336, my Conroe branch, and I have 3 fantastic escrow officers there who do all the transactions there as well.
It's the place to close real estate transactions,
Yes.
those offices.
Absolutely. What I like to say about my team, all of them combined, I would definitely say there's probably well over 150 years plus combined experience. So one thing I love about Stewart is that everybody that's with Stewart stays with Stewart. They've all been there for a very, very long time, and I think that speaks a lot for who we are as a company.
No doubt. We work for a great company. Hope, let's tell people how to reach you.
Absolutely. My number is 346-224-1908. Again, my number is 346-224-1908. If there's anything I can ever do for you, give me a call.
Thank you so much, Hope.
Thanks, Bill.
I have a feeling we'll be seeing you soon. And now he is back, Chase Harville, with Chase Harville Real Estate LLC. Hey, Chase, just a quick word. What else should we know?
I say our business is highly, highly focused on customer service. And one thing that I'm really proud of is through my entire career, I have been rated no less than a perfect rating, 5-star rating from every previous client I've ever had.
Awesome.
That's important to me, not just to tout the 5 stars, but that's why I got in this business. I really, really wanted to help people and do a great job and try to take real estate's a stressful transaction for people. And if I can take some of their stress off of their plate, put it on my own shoulders, it makes them extremely appreciative and it makes them send referrals my way as well.
Chase, let's tell people how they can reach you once again.
281-825-6990. We'd love to hear from you. 281-825-6990.
Chase, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate you.
And once again, Brandy Weibel joins us. She, too, is working alongside with Chase, having too much fun. All these what kind of dogs are they again, Brandy?
Australian Shepherds.
What is it about the Australian Shepherd that people like? There's one in my neighborhood I see all the time.
They're smarter than you.
That's the kind of dog I don't want. I don't want the dog to be smarter.
They have big personalities, and they're just a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and they're really, really smart. So
okay,
you don't have to go through the terrible twos with them. I'm a buyer's agent for Chase Harville, and the real estate market is shifting again, and I would be your go-to girl to help you find the right property. I have a property right now in Plantersville for a client. We helped her find some land. I'm out that way. We go as far as Midway. We've been as far as Midway, as far north as Midway, and as far south as Galveston. So we're in the area, and I want to help.
The phone number is
936-222-0827. 936-222-0827.
Brandy, thanks for being with us. Elizabeth Stein is back helping firefighters and just about everyone else in Houston. I mean, I'm losing track. Elizabeth, you're doing tremendous work out there. As we close the show, it's you and me, the final moments. What else should we know, Elizabeth?
We should know that, as we said before, that everybody, every single person can do something and make a difference. Make a choice. Do something small. Do something for your neighbor. If you have a neighbor that is housebound, do something at your church. Do something.
Help some dogs. You're helping dogs, dude.
I help dogs too. I really like helping dogs. They're really, it's important. You can all do something. Help each other is really the main message. Help each other. That's the important.
Well, I will say this also. To see some of the extra things you do, people can see you on Facebook as Elizabeth Stein. And let's remind people again to help firefighters. The website is
Houston's, with an S, bravest.org. And if you want to call, it's 713-223-2166. And for Victory Houston, if your passion is cancer and cancer research and you want your money to stay locally, it's victory-houston.org.
Elizabeth, thanks for being with us once again. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance, we appreciate you listening. It's a great show. You can reach out, do some help for the community here in Houston, and we will see you next week. And if you want to see the show, see the special effects, the beautiful guests here, simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's right, stewart.com/radio. You can see this show on the YouTube channel, and you can also see all the shows, the past several hundred shows right there. Stewart.com/radio. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.